Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm your official K-pop hag, Aurora Blair. Last week I talked a little bit about Blackswan and the impact that they're having on K-pop at the moment. I like to think that went pretty well received, but I did get a couple comments saying that there's no way Blackswan impacted K-pop. Whether you want to deny it or not, K-pop has never really had anything like them before. Outside of DR Entertainment, K-pop's idea of global group was basically global Asia, mostly Eastern Asians from Korea, Japan, China, a couple South Asian members if they're feeling spicy, but never really anyone quite like Blackswan. And yeah, I think it's time to really talk about it, because I have a feeling the reason why people don't want to even have global groups or even recognize Blackswan for making the impact is because of international fans need to gatekeep it from foreigners. So let's really talk about this and dig in. Before I really get started, I do want to mention Jpop. I do believe Jpop could have been the start of this, but because Jpop never fully, and the companies that produced them never fully said they were K-pop, they branded themselves as Jpop and never marketed themselves more like a global inspired K-pop group, or group that's inspired by K-pop, but they never really called themselves K-pop. So I don't think Jpop stars is technically anything to mention unless we're talking about the global, but we can talk about them a little bit later. But they never marketed themselves as K-pop or K-pop adjacent, so let's just keep the Jpop stars out of this. I'm sure they're lovely people, but the project was wasted potential, if I can be so honest. Blackswan is the impact, and they are really the blueprint of where I think K-pop will be going. I don't think every group that comes from a Korean company will market themselves as, you know, a global K-pop group or global group or whatever. But I do think that there will be more groups like this. I think people for a while thought global groups like Blackswan and now XIN, people would, you know, push them under the rug and say like, oh, well, they're like an underground company, they're not really gonna get famous. And then JYP started announcing A2K. Yes, I do believe a lot of younger fans are probably more excited for things like A2K when it was going on in Dream Academy than older K-pop fans. I think the music industry is changing, and as the world becomes so much smaller, people see things, they like it, and they want to be a part of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I do believe a lot of the negativity and pushback from older K-pop fans and international fans in general is because they don't want foreigners in their group because they have a weird Asian fetish. And when I mean Asian, I don't mean like Asians, like the global Asians. I am talking about East Asians, you know? They can't fully commit if it looks anything like their Western counterparts. And I guess I could see it, but I also kind of think that's kind of weird. I think that's weird that you expect people to like them as they are, you know, sameness, but not want people to join it. People say, oh, it's cringe and all that good stuff, but it's like, who are you to tell these companies that make billions of dollars that their idea is cringe? Maybe it's a bit too soon for things like this, but the way things are going and how fast the internet works, why not try? Why is it weird? Why is it cringe when foreigners want to join K-pop? Is it because it ruins your fantasy? Does it mean you don't see K-pop the same if a foreigner's in it? I think a lot of K-pop fans have weird sexual things going on with them. A lot of them, you know, want to baby and infantize like grown men and women. Like they get really weird when it comes to like male idols dating or even having female friends, which I understand it for a while, but it's starting to get like really obsessive and possessive. Like, it's, you should want grown men to date, right? You can't expect them to be ooh baby forever. I think that's really weird. The the babying of grown men and women in K-pop. I want to talk about that later, but I just want to bring that up. I want to bring up that it's really weird when international fans put themselves like they're the CEO of a company and state why, and a lot of them are palm people, palm side. So I think it's weird that not only do they get to dictate what is popular, what is cool, in in the Western parts, but they also get to decide, you know, what is not okay or okay, and they sometimes speak over people who actually are living in that country and might not even mind because from my research, a lot of K-pop companies want to be international. A lot of these K-pop companies want to not only break it into the Western market, but they also want to have a little part of it. They also want to be included in what's popular in the Western music. And sometimes it's not even K-pop related. I think companies that are looking to make their own global group a la Blackswan, I do believe a lot of them realize that they will probably get more fans if they go outside of the norm. And they notice that there is more increase in fans that support the group through and through, no matter what, when they kind of look like the person that's in the group. I'm trying to tread lightly, but I think that they see that, and that's why they figured if I put one from each, kind of like a token checklist, they'll probably get more fans. And I do think K-pop fans will support a group no matter what. But I also believe that sometimes when you see someone that looks like you'll probably go a little bit more harder in the paint, Like if you saw a girl that looked like Gabby and you happen to look similar to Gabby, you'd probably support her through and through. So I could see why they do that, because a lot of Americans kind of figure like, oh, I'm not really into things like that. But if they see, it reminds them of like the 90s girl group where we kind of, if it's like a bigger group, one of each in there, they'll probably be interested. But I also believe that companies are not dumb, and they see things. And whether K-pop fans want to admit it or not, marketing to everyone is probably better. Niche is okay, but you'll never get that universal money like Taylor Swift money if you don't like break the mold. And I think companies are not dumb. Granted, we see the artists as like artists, but companies see these people as future money makers, and they've noticed international fans are probably loyal to people who come from their country or maybe look like them. And yeah, I also see this as a way of finally testing the waters of what is K-pop and what is not. We've been going back and forth whether Blackswan is K-pop, mostly on Reddit. I'm a big Reddit reader. But I do believe Blackswan is K-pop, and they're marketed so, and they have a Korean company that backs them. And I think that's what makes them K-pop, plus they're singing in Korean, sometimes English, but there are lots of K-pop groups at the moment that are singing in English. Does that make BTS less K-pop if they sing in English? Just something to think about. Anyway, moving on. Also, international fans, K-pop is not going to go anywhere just because a few foreigners debut. There is enough room in the industry to support an all-Asian group and an international group. You don't have to pick and choose. It's not an all or nothing zero-sum game. There's room for everyone. There are lots of K-pop groups that you guys don't even heard about. Lots of underground indie artists, So if there's enough room for unknown groups that are indie, underground, etc., etc., why is there no room for foreigners in K-pop? All right, let's continue on to the next topic. Now, to the topic I really wanted to discuss the most. Why is it okay for J-pop to be international and have people from different cultures and races join their idol games, but it's not okay for K-pop? Because I have been noticing that, because if you have ever been a J-pop fan, you will know of the ginormous idol group slash R&B group slash dance group slash MC group, and I have not seen anyone throw a fit, because there are two Blasian boys, and one of them is not as unambiguous. He's very, like, if you didn't know he was Japanese, or you didn't hear him say himself being Blasian, you would clock him as a black boy. He reminds me of Hyungmin, who is a dark-skinned Nigerian Korean, and clocks as a, or presents as a black Nigerian boy, cutie pie. So why is it okay for Psychic Fever to exist? And you can say, oh, they're not K-pop, so that doesn't count. But the group has the similar same dynamic to Blackswan. They have a white member who speaks English, and they have two Blasian boys in there, and everyone else is Japanese. I do think there is a Filipino boy in there. I have to do more research. I'm kind of in and out of Psychic Fever. Oh my god, Psychic Fever. So, but they are a biracial group or international group. There's also Banana Lemon, a girl group that has Japanese members and a Blasian Japanese girl. So how come that's okay in Asian music, but K-pop can't do anything similar? It's, I don't know, it's giving xenophobic. It's giving racist too. But I was just wondering, like, why is it okay for Japan to do things like that, but K-pop is not? And I'm pretty sure people will give me 50 million excuses why J-pop can have black people or biracial people in their groups, but K-pop is not allowed. I also think K-pop is a shiny toy, and people are just trying to gatekeep their toys. Oh, hey, baby. How do you think about Blackswan? They're doing rap, they're doing trap hop, you know, basically the same flavors as K-pop, but in Japanese. So why can they have diverse groups and it to be successful, but your oppas and unis can't have, you know, black members in their groups? I think it's kind of weird. Like I said, it's giving races. It's giving all these people are allowed to do this except for, like, and I also think sometimes that international fans would be okay if a girl group was mostly Asian and maybe one or two white girls. Like, I think it's very much self-insert, but only for me. I'm only allowed to self-insert. You're not allowed to do that. It's, I don't know. I think there's a weird mentality amongst them. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's like I see it a lot. I see it a lot in forums that discuss global girl groups. You know, Reddit's probably one of the places I dominate. But it's like I also seen people saying that K-pop fans are coping. They're using their idols as vicarious copes for why they're not doing the same, and it's weird. But yeah, I will be talking more about Psychic Fever soon. I'm very interested in them. I'm actually watching like all their videos again because I like it. I'm really loving Baku Baku. Maybe just because I'm a J-pop fan and I've always liked J-pop, and J-pop, you know, never disappeared on my radar after K-pop came into my life. But I don't know, they're very refreshing. I like to see that. I would love to see a Korean version of Psychic Fever. Why do I keep saying that? I'd love to see a Korean version of Psychic Fever. I think that'd be really interesting. And I understand why they're going the girl route, because maybe women are a bit more palatable to debut versus men, you know. What do you think an international boy group from a Korean company would look like? Also, have you guys ever heard of Psychic Fever? Have you ever heard of them? And what do you think? What do you think about this altogether? Do you think that I'm just saying things and I'm just being, I'm just blowing things out of proportion? Do you think that maybe K-pop fans are coping and they're using their K-pop cope as their ultimate copium? What do you guys think about international girl groups, and why don't you believe Blackswan is the impact? Do you just think that these companies decided to pick black women, Indian women, and white girls all of a sudden? Why those three only? Don't you think it's a bit suspicious? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, whatever. Do the algorithm thing for me. Let it do its thing. But if you want to disagree, that's okay. Keep it civil. I'm down to argue. I'm down to disagree, but we can keep it civil. I got other videos to edit, so I gotta go. Love you so much. The video's over. I needed to distance myself from you. I was just in love with you, so I couldn't cancel with you.